Arguably the greatest crisis in the history of finance capitalism. The words of the regulator Adair Turner as he introduced proposals to overhaul the way banks are ruled. The chairman of the Financial Services wants to restrict banks' ability to take excessive risk and to ensure they hold on to more cash to help their liquidity. Our business correspondent Richard Scott reports.
Collapsing banks, state bailouts and colossal losses. The financial system has had its greatest crisis for at least a century, according to the regulator. An exaggerated faith in rational markets meant excessive lending and risk-taking weren't held in check. Today we found out what the regulator thought should be done about it. It's come up with a series of proposals to try to prevent the same lending bubble building up again. There are pages of recommendations, but the most basic is that banks must hold much more cash to protect themselves from risk. And there'd be different rules for good and bad times, so banks hold more cash in good times to restrict their lending and less cash in bad times to boost their lending and help the economy. The regulator also wants new pay and bonus deals to discourage short-term risk-taking.
The review's focus is on how we create a future banking system which is more stable and better able to serve the needs of businesses and households. So it doesn't address the other pressing priority of policy today, which is how to maintain nominal demand and bank lending to limit the immediate economic downturn.
The banks on the receiving end of all this say we need to be careful that the new rules don't drive business away.
Because banking is very much an operation that takes place across a number of jurisdictions, that we do need other countries to do very similar things. Otherwise, we'll find that where there's too many discrepancies, and that in itself not only builds in instability, but can start to lose business that we want in the UK to other countries.
Contrary to speculation, though, there were no proposals today to restrict the size of mortgages relative to people's incomes or to force buyers to have larger deposits, although these ideas are set to be discussed later in the year. Richard Scott, BBC News.
The time is 20 minutes past 1, our top story this lunchtime. The number of people looking for jobs rises to over 2 million for the first time since